Okay. Today's question.
Bring it.
What's your favorite ethnic food?
Isn't all food some sort of ethnic?
Let me just say Mexican all day long.
Mexican all day. Okay.
It's not even a question.
Pretty much any form of Asian food.
Okay.
I really like pretty much anything. Indian,
Wow.
Korean.
You're just going to go for the whole continent. The
I love all of it.
continent.
Russian.
The largest continent we got.
Yeah, Asian.
He loves some
Asia.
Yeah.
Samoan, some Asian. I like. You know. I really do. I love all that food, man. Like I can't just pick one. Like I used to be able to just like sushi at the drop of a hat, but now I love everything.
Stroganoff.
All of it.
It's all Asian. Yeah.
Yeah, beef stroganoff with sushi. It's amazing.
Yeah.
In the same vein as Lee, I got to go Tex-Mex though. Not Mexican food per se, but Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. It's a toss up between like Asian, like Eastern Asian or
More specific.
Tex-Mex. Although I am going to lean towards Tex-Mex.
That is such a product of where we live, guys.
It is.
Like all four of us were saying basically the same things because that's the only options we have here in Lake Jackson.
Sadly.
I'm just kidding.
But it's,
I mean, you could argue against
you look
it, but
at me,
there's
it's
more Mexican restaurants
kinda-
and more Asian restaurants than anything else around here.
I mean, that's what I grew up with too.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like that's
for sure.
That's me. But
I just think it's so funny as we answer this. It's like, man, basically it's the same thing.
yeah, what's funny is I can't actually think of any other ethnic food that I eat.
Italian.
Oh yeah.
That's the other one.
Okay.
I don't really eat a lot of
like
Italian food.
I don't like Asian.
What?
I
You don't like Italian food?
What would be considered like food groups from Africa and stuff? I mean, I don't think I've ever had. There's never been like a restaurant around here that's like a Kenyan restaurant or anything like
There was
that.
an Ethiopian place when I was up in New York, but I can't tell you what they served. I honestly don't remember.
See, that's why, and that's what I mean by like we're kind of a product of where we are, because
We're pretty limited.
those are the two that are the
here.
major food groups in our areas is Asian foods and
So it makes
Mexican
sense.
foods. Yeah.
We got some Irish food too.
Not such a hard hitting question. So
No. But on that note, welcome to the podcast.
Ooh, yeah. All right, in this episode, we go back to the past and remember the toys that captivated us. We'll explore how our tastes have changed and how our wallets are often empty due to our interests. But hey, it's playtime. All right, guys, today is just an interesting topic simply because it can be kind of a wide range of things, right? I mean, we've got toys from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. We have all different things that considered to be toys.
So this is our
this is
Toy Story.
this is our Toy Story, guys. This is how we make things immortal.
Okay.
okay.
You say it here and it never dies. It's on the internet forever.
I do want to say something
Forever.
before we get into toys.
Yep.
Last week we talked about bullying, right?
Yeah.
And I feel something needs to be said. If you've been watching the podcast for a while, you would know that we tend to bully this guy right here.
We do.
Poor Eric.
About being bald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we need to do something for him. So I do have something here for you.
What?
Yep.
It is just another sexy bald guy glass for you.
That's so awesome.
Nice.
So
That's so rad.
we love you,
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
even though we might bully you a little bit about
I'm
the
cool with
baldness. So yeah, there you go.
Ball chose me. I didn't choose it.
Nice.
This
a good
is
way to
so
put it.
rad. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed the breeze.
Oh, wow.
You know, as you sip on
We
something
should have
nice.
done it in the bullying episode, but it was kind of a serious episode. So
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there we go.
So
So
That's so
you
rad.
know, cheers to years of more bullying you.
Yeah.
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 Well,
Yeah,
you
he's
know.
like, sure.
Clink, 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 and clink.
Clinkety clank.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So I'm
love.
sorry.
I feel it.
You're good.
Feel it.
Yes,
Yeah.
we love.
So that'll buy us at least, another 20 episodes or so.
I
Yeah.
just find it
all
interesting
jokes
that we did this with the episode where he's wearing a hat.
I know.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Out of all the
Maybe
episodes,
we shaved it on.
it's like he was presenting his glorious bald head last
Yeah.
episode, and then now he's just
Yeah.
put the hat on top of it, just shutting down.
That's
I got
right.
a new hat. I wanted to wear it.
I
Yeah,
kind
it
of
looks
missed the
good.
Guy Fieri hat. I wish you'd bring that one back.
Oh, yeah.
That was some good stuff right there.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
All right. So
yeah.
kick us back into toys. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so
Toys.
no, like this is something that's actually I'm probably the most passionate person here about toys. I am probably one of the only people here that had a massive toy collection up until about this year. I got rid of like half of it.
Wow.
But yeah, so I probably might have a little bit more to say, but I've always been interested on the difference between each and every person's like childhood and growing up. Like what were the kind of toys that you grew up playing with? Like what was your favorite toy that you can remember? And I would say keep it into the years where you really played with toys. Like don't go, later years and stuff. Like really think back.
Like actually playing with toys versus being a collector.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Like think back to like when you couldn't wait to get home to play with this toy. Like that was the thing.
G.I. Joe all day long.
Yeah, no doubt.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes, that's such a good toy.
And not the
dude.
not the original 1-footers like the
No, the little guys.
the
Yeah.
little
Oh, yeah.
dudes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
G.I.
Who, like,
Joes.
Name them. Who?
those are the 5-inch.
And Destro.
Snake Eyes.
Destro is
Destro.
my brother had that one and he kept him pristine, and you know how it is, but all of the parts of the toy would move.
Yeah.
Unless it was my brothers, they were all still stiff because he's like, "Don't play with that,"
yeah.
And I was like, "Man!" So whenever he got too old for the GI Joes and they got passed down, I was like, yeah.
And then all the joints break.
Did anybody? I don't know. Did anybody else see the irony in there that Destro was his like one mention? For those of you that don't know, Destro is bald.
Yeah,
He has a metal head
It was
with no hair.
futures.
The other one's
past.
Zartan. I like Zartan because he changed colors.
Zartan, dude. I was gonna say Zartan. Yeah, for sure. Snake Eyes. Come on, Snake
Yeah, I
Eyes.
mean,
Yeah,
for
But
sure.
he was like everyone's favorite. So
Yeah, he was.
I'm kind of like one of those guys that's like, but I like these because everybody else likes those.
Right.
And that because they were
Roadblock.
hard to find because
Yeah.
everybody wanted them.
yeah.
What? Yeah.
Oh,
dude.
I loved.
No, for me, Firefly.
Nah.
Dude, Firefly's the man. Come on, man.
Really, man. It's been so many years since
I
I've
loved
even-
Firefly.
I used to play with
The
them. but
gray.
had a lot of the
That was cool.
gray
Yeah.
camo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the urban camo.
Yeah, it was urban camo. I mean,
Before
So you
before
both,
anybody even knew what urban camo was. Yeah.
both of you guys, like you were gonna pick GI Joe as well.
you know me. I'm gonna pick more than one, but
I was gonna say
That's
Legos.
him.
Legos
Yeah.
was a close second.
Legos.
Oh,
Gosh. I had the the medieval times and then the pirate ones.
Oh,
I
yeah,
still
okay.
have those.
Yeah, yeah,
actually,
yeah.
they're in a closet
I
somewhere. but
totally know what you're talking about.
yeah, but anyway, no, for
Spaceship.
me, it was that I had a stuffed animal that meant the world to me, Lamont, who I still have. He's still in a box somewhere in the garage, and then one time a girl was trying to pull him away from me. You know that scene that you always see in the movies. True story. She was trying to get him, and I was like, no, and she pulled his arm off, and then I cried. My mom had to sew the arm back on. Man, her name was Juliana. She was a little turd. Anyway,
Flashbacks to last week's episode of Bullies.
Dun dun dun.
and so anyway, but yeah, but GI Joes. I played with GI Joes all the time.
Yep.
But so then a funny like side note, GoBots.
Yes.
Yes, I was a GoBot person. My friends were all Transformers people.
Yeah,
and I was
same.
like, now I'm doing GoBots. Like,
Yeah.
Anyway.
GoBots and Voltron.
Yes, Voltron. And then
Original Transformers.
as I got a little older, Spytek. Does anybody remember
Oh,
Spytek?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Spytek.
So cool.
Remember that.
You don't remember Spytek?
I do, that makes more sense because of knowing you and your love for all
Anything
things
spy.
spy
Yeah,
industry and
for
stuff
sure.
like that. I never it was building stuff with construction Legos, constructs,
Yeah.
and Legos,
Constructs, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and GI Joe. So I never left
Yeah.
when it got to practical things like stuff I could wear and do. Things like that got tore up in our house real fast, and
Gotcha.
so it didn't last.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like we had the shotgun mic You can sit there and listen to what people are saying.
Oh yeah, nice.
You know, the alarm that went off every time my little sister went in my room. You know?
Yeah.
Like there was some cool.
The secret writings with
the secret decoder. Like you could write with your friends. Yeah, with the light. Yeah.
I remember that.
Spy Tech was
Dude,
cool
this
stuff.
is exciting. I did not expect you guys to have this much.
Dude, come on.
I'm
still got a
all
tackle
for it.
box somewhere full of GI Joes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
For me, it was always
Star Wars game.
reminiscent.
Yes.
All my toys were reminiscent of the movies that I watched. Because I loved going to movies. Specifically, I loved going to movies with my dad. Like we had that classic like 80s action movie kind of love for movies, right? And so all the Arnold Schwarzenegger stuff, Stallone, Van Damme, like all those guys, man. I loved watching them. So I had toys of those guys. And particularly though, the one that really was absolutely my favorite was, of course, Jurassic Park. It was my favorite movie. So I bought every toy that I could from the 90s and stuff, all the Jurassic Park toys. And I played with them all the time. And I had like 3 birthdays in a row that was just Jurassic Park birthdays. And I did that on purpose because I know when you have a theme for a birthday, usually your gift
You're gonna get the toys.
follows that theme. And so I got more and more Jurassic Park toys.
That's genius.
That is smart.
So
I'm going to have a money party.
bro,
Next birthday.
for real though, just you know that like
It's
thing
$40
they do at
minimum.
weddings, the thing they do at weddings with the money tree and the pass the boot to dance with this person, like that's just becomes a thing at all parties.
I think that's the bachelor party you're thinking of.
Whoa,
No.
what? No.
Pass the boot to dance with this person.
No, I used to work for a DJ company.
Yeah.
It's in the middle. Yeah, they get a boot and then
It sounds like it's a prostitute
you have to
thing.
put somebody walks around. No, it's a cowboy boot. You have to walk around and they put money in it. If they put money in the boot, they get to go up and dance with the bride, and they get to the person
stand
who's
by my
dancing with her at the time, you
Don't make it weird.
kick them away and then dance. So yeah. I know that you haven't been to a wedding, but I mean,
I have been to a wedding or two. And
missed his own wedding, guys.
Never saw the boot thing.
Yeah.
it's very popular down here.
Well,
Yeah.
good to know.
Saw it once.
But yeah, money would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, Jurassic Park for sure. I had this one Velociraptor puppet, and I still own it to this day.
Awesome.
And it was from 1993, I think. It was before the movie came out because they rolled out their marketing toys, and it was the puppets, those like really heavy duty rubber.
Yeah.
And they had like a series of them. But this one was like that orange puppet with the black, and it snarled and stuff. And I love that thing. It had arms like dangling down. And it's such a funny puppet. But yeah, I still own it. Apparently, if it was in really good condition, it's worth a lot of money. I did not know that. And it is not in good condition.
Yeah. How many toys is that true of?
I know.
Oh,
man.
there's a bunch of that.
For real. Like there was a friend of mine that I used to go hang out with, and there was a closet, or another room actually, and we were never allowed to go in there. And then one time someone opened the door, and there was all of these vintage Star Wars toys still in the box. And like that, my friend's mom was collecting all of these.
I have a friend.
So we
I have a
couldn't
friend
go in
just
there.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of that.
What gets me about that? So, what is the purpose of a toy?
To play.
To play, right? To enjoy and have
You put
fun.
in a
And
wrapper and
like we get these toys and we don't play with them, and like
That's why you buy two.
You move to the collector.
I
thing.
was
you
about
buy,
to say
you
that,
buy multiple. Yeah.
As a collector, I did start
Yeah.
doing that a little bit.
But that usually happens later, though. Like,
No, that's true.
So somebody has to have the forethought to like
His mom.
Ooh,
Yeah.
just
There you go,
ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Forethought.
Forethought. Use the name of the podcast
man.
in the podcast. You win a prize.
That's
This
right.
guy's slick.
So toys.
Yeah, my toys.
Smooth.
I'm thinking. I remember having a couple of GI Joes. Probably the toys that I remember playing with the most. Like He-Man. I remember having the castle.
Yep.
He-Man.
By the power of Grayskull.
Yeah, had a bunch of that. Thundercats. I remember having some Thundercat stuff.
Thunder.
Yeah.
Do you still have them?
No.
Because those are
Actually,
worth-
most of the
Yeah,
stuff
lots
that
of
I
money.
grew up with, my grandmother sold in a garage sale. Just
So
randomly.
somebody else is making
one
money
time.
off your love. you know?
Yeah.
Sad.
Okay.
And then the rest burned in a fire. So yeah, there's not
Wow.
much out there.
Well, that just became a depressing
Yeah,
podcast.
sorry.
Debbie
No.
Downer.
Golly.
Those are the toys I
but you
remember.
took it to like a whole nother.
Well, I tell you what, like the one toy I forgot about, but now you mentioned your sad story. Hot Wheels. Man, I was
Yeah.
huge
I
Hot
had a
Wheels,
lot of
right?
those as well.
I had one of those wheels with all the cars in it.
And you pack it.
Yeah.
And it looks like a wheel.
Oh yeah, and that thing was packed full, overflowing. And one day, Lee, come in, time for dinner. And I left it out next to the road.
Oh,
The next day it was gone.
Obviously.
The magical curve.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was so sad. I cried.
Actually, I just thought of toys I actually did have and I played with a long time. It was the Ninja Turtle toys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I remember having the van and
Like
the little,
80s version, right? Like based on the movies?
Yeah, that one I probably had more than the other ones. Yeah.
Yes, I
sure.
had the 4 based on the 80s movies that were designed, and I had all 4 of the Ninja Turtles. I didn't have anything else, just the Ninja Turtles, and they were hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
So they were actually from the 80s, which
That
was
is
cool.
so funny because I had like everything but the Ninja
But
Turtles.
those, yeah.
I had
We should have found each
Bebop
other,
and,
man.
The rest of it is like,
I had all
what?
of them. Yeah, I had a
Yeah,
bunch of
that's
them.
awesome.
Like the
And he had the
samurai
van.
ones. I had the van.
The van was
Dude,
so
yeah.
like
Yes.
everybody
Yeah.
wanted the van.
Yeah.
And was it the one that had the gun on the top, right?
Yeah. So you had a character that could sit up on top and it would like shoot pizzas.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so jealous. That was the
Yeah,
coolest
yeah.
thing. As
That
a
was
kid.
fun. Cool.
I always bring up a toy, like when I'm around my friends when we talk about this. There's one that I vividly remember. I even still have it somewhere. It's in the garage at my parents' house. We don't get rid of a lot of stuff, guys. I don't know why, but we don't.
Next time on Hoarders.
Yes. So there was this toy,
Intervention.
and it was the answer to Polly Pocket. If you remember Polly Pocket back in the 90s, it was a big deal for girls. Well, the answer to that for guys was Mighty Max.
Ooh, yeah.
And Mighty Max was basically like Polly Pocket. It was like a little handheld thing. It was living in the Micro Machines era too.
Yep. Oh, the
And so
Micro
it's this
Machines,
little
so much.
handheld thing, and it looked like different beasts. So if I'm holding like a Triceratops, but the Triceratops is like maroon and its horns are like neon blue with ooze coming out of them, and it just doesn't look like just a basic Triceratops. It's crazy looking. But then you can open up the head on the mouth side and kind of open up, and it's like this whole little world to play in.
Oh, yeah.
inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was this tiny little kid named Max that came with it, and usually like a villain or something. And it was just this tiny little thing.
This
And
is back before we knew what choking hazards
Yeah,
were.
right. Yeah. And he was always wearing a white shirt with a big red M on it. And he would wear a hat and stuff like that. And it was called Mighty Max. And I always bring this up because I vividly remember that. And I had like 3 or 4 of them. And I would carry them around. You could play in it and stuff. And it was great for travel because you just close it up. Everything's kept in there and you put it away.
Yeah.
And then Ninja Turtles came out with one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so you actually had the ooze and like, all the little
sewer
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, you could play with it. I had that one too. Your Ninja Turtle stories reminded me.
Yeah.
of it too.
My son actually still has one. It was a hand me down from somebody else that just gave us a bunch of toys and there was one in there. It's like
Is it a Mighty Max?
it's not a Mighty Max. It's the Ninja Turtles. Like the shell pops
dude, that's
open
so
and there's like a
awesome.
little sewer scene inside. Yeah,
Does
that's
it have
cool.
the little
It
turtle
didn't come with
guys?
the little turtle guys though. It's just the turtle.
Yeah.
Like pop it open.
That's still really
cool.
cool that you have that.
Yeah.
Had the mask toys.
Oh,
Mask.
wow.
That's
Mask.
so you read my mind.
So rad.
They were so cool.
Yes.
And then you go back and look at it, it's like they were so lame. Like their skills and stuff. Like they couldn't drive the car without the mask. It was so many little lame inconsistencies in the story, but it was so
But
cool
the
as a
toys
kid.
were so rad.
They were so awesome. It's
Yes.
like, oh, this is a car, but the doors open up and it can fly.
That's right.
It's like,
It's a
what?
Trans Am. And now,
Yeah.
it's a plane. What?
Okay, so we
Mask.
talked a lot about toys you had.
Yes.
Yes.
What
this
was
next
there
section
ever a toy
angers
that
me.
you wanted but
Yes.
you never got?
What?
Yes. Okay, so I also liked the Star Wars toys, right?
Oh, yeah.
More than anything in the world, I wanted an AT-AT,
Oh, okay.
which is the 4-legged thing
Yeah.
from
Yep.
Empire,
Yeah, yeah.
Empire Strikes Back, right?
AT-AT.
I wanted one so bad. I think those things were huge.
Yep.
That was so rad. I was like, man, of all the time, my G.I. Joes and my Star Wars would be battling. We could have, and they were expensive, so it's understandable. I think what made me angry about that was there's a kid down the street. His name was Bryce. He had 2.
Oh, yeah.
He had like one of everything. Like when the die-cast metal minis, mini sets came out for all the Star Wars stuff, he hit all those. He had like multiples of every figure, and I'm like, he would ask me if I wanted to come over and play. As soon as I found, you find out he's got that, and you're like, oh, that's so rad. Can I come see it? And he's like, sure. And that's all he would let me do is see it.
Are you kidding me?
He would invite me into his room and literally play with his stuff in front of me. And I'd be like, can I play with the AT-AT? He's like, no.
This sounds like
What
bullying
in
to
the
me.
world? And
This
so
sounds like bullying.
I
Yes,
have
but-
to
That'd be
like
like trauma that lasts.
So
No.
here it is. You talked about garage sale. I have to end my story with this. So fast forward to whenever episodes 1, 2, and
Yep.
3 came
Yep,
out,
yep.
right? So they relaunched all of the old toys.
99.
Yes.
So there was somebody, I just had my first son, so I had Legos left over that I had in a tote still. And they were like, "Hey man, you just had a son. You want all these Star Wars toys?" I said, "I do."
Yes.
It was a shoebox full of action figures.
Awesome.
It was a Millennium Falcon. It was an AT-AT, and it was several other things. And I'm like, dude, I finally got the AT-AT, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It got sold in the garage sale.
No.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
recently?
No, like, yeah. There was a debate on whether or not we should have these toys, and I lost.
Yeah.
And there was a church garage sale.
Yeah.
And I put them out thinking, oh man, this is going to make a lot of money. And it didn't, because one of the members of the church walked by and went, "Oh, gold mine." Picked it all up and never saw the garage sale. So I was like, my childhood.
Yeah.
I wanted one so bad.
I was hoping your story was going to come back to the kid who had 2 and was like, he came to that garage sale and he bought them.
Yeah.
No, that was when they actually came out. So
Yeah.
he had like
That's
the
crazy.
originals.
Yeah. I'll go next because mine is so similar to yours in the fact that the toy that I wanted was the Millennium Falcon.
Oh yeah, we had that.
Yeah, it was all Star Wars toys that I wanted. Like I had a few growing up, but like back then Star Wars was so big. Like it was the biggest thing. And especially when the new episodes came out, 1, 2, and 3, like it just got crazy and they were expensive.
Yeah.
Like $20 was a lot for an action figure. And there were several of them were
still
about
is.
that. Yeah. And so I just didn't get a whole lot of them. And so I remember just wanting that big Millennium Falcon. I'm talking the one that the top came up and you could get in the cockpit and they could sit around the little table and play the game. Like I wanted that so bad. And I would just see the commercials, and I had a friend that also owned it. And then with that, the other thing is, like I said, I'm a big Jurassic Park fan. There was one particular thing that I never got from Jurassic Park that I always wanted. When the first Jurassic Park came out, after that movie launched and they released a bunch more toys, they came out with this massive T-Rex. I mean, he was huge. And the thing that made that T-Rex so cool is they made it big enough to where it was life size to your figures.
Oh yeah.
So
to
that
scale.
your person you can shove it in the mouth of the T-Rex and it would go down its gullet and into the belly, and the bottom of the belly was rubber and it had a little slit in it so you could reach back in there and take out the toy.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, my neighbor had it. And so I was just always, I would bring all my action figures from Jurassic Park because I had stuff he didn't have. And we would just make this huge story from it. And he had
Nice.
that T-Rex, and like there was not a single toy that did not get swallowed by that T-Rex.
No, yeah.
Like, just
That's
everything.
awesome.
What's the T-Rex's name again? Do you remember?
From the,
From the Jurassic
movie?
Park? Yeah, what they call it. I can't remember
no,
what
I
they
don't
call it. There
remember.
was a name that they had
I don't remember
for
that.
it.
I don't either. I remember
I mean, Clever Girl is
Clever
Raptor.
Girl is from the Raptor, but I don't remember
Yeah,
the
I
actual.
don't know.
But I bet you're right. They probably do have a name, and I feel like I'm losing on trivia right now.
No.
But yeah, those two things were just like, even now, I've never had them, never experienced them, and I couldn't even dream of it now because they are so expensive. If you want them, I mean, we're
Yeah.
thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Man, I early on moved to wanting like video games and stuff, like
Yeah.
really early on. So that drove most of it. But one toy that I do remember kind of wanting and never getting, I don't even know what it was called. I think it was from You Can't Say That on Television. It was like a slime thing.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
It was a little like you filled it with slime and then you could like dump it on your toys and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I think I'd even convinced my parents to get it, but we couldn't find it anywhere.
Oh wow.
Like again, small
Yeah,
town, like Kmart was the
Yeah.
store, right? Like they're pretty limited.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember wanting this like slime stuff. And again, I remember had friends that had the slime and they had like it was like little barrels of slime and you'd fill it up and
I
then
do
pour it
remember
over
the slime.
your,
There was a phase. There was a time.
yeah,
where
slime was big there for a while because you
Was
had
that
like
Nic-
Ghostbusters.
Was that Nickelodeon Ghostbusters
Nickelodeon,
kind of
You
thing?
can't say
Yeah.
that on television. Yeah, Canadian show.
Yeah.
Right. But
And I
yeah.
remember the can of slime where it looked like a toxic waste thing.
Yeah.
And then you open the lid and it literally was like gack. Is
Yeah.
what it felt
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Ninja Turtles
Yep.
came out
Yep.
with their
Slime.
because they
They
had
had
their
the
slime, they had their
ooze.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ooze inside the
So
sewers.
that was the one toy I remember wanting and not getting. But then very quickly I moved to wanting video games and not getting many.
And not
Did you
video
ever have a
those.
power glove?
I never had the power and I never wanted it.
Yeah, the
That
Power
was-
Glove never
no.
made any sense.
No, I never wanted the Power Glove. Yeah,
What about the U-Force?
I don't know that one.
See, that was different. Like they came out with back then. This is how crazy how advanced Nintendo was. They had a thing where you touched nothing and you just put your hands in there, and the camera read your hand movements.
That's super interesting.
Crazy.
That's like the technology that probably brought us the Wii, and we didn't even know it.
No, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, they way advanced. Yeah,
Dude, you haven't
Me.
even told
No,
us.
I haven't. No.
Which one? What's your toy?
Yeah, so there, I mean, there was a lot of toys. There were G.I. Joe toys that, I was like, man, it'd be really awesome to have that. Never had it. And then, like, I felt like with my parents, they, like, because we didn't always have a whole lot of money growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going shopping at Wieners.
Yeah.
And getting clothes at Wieners, and then like getting my shoes at Payless.
Mm-hmm.
And those were, I couldn't afford real Converse. So
Dude,
I had the Payless Converse.
Yeah, I had all the Payless stuff. That was yep, same.
That's where we were at. So as we went on a little bit, my dad started making a little, maybe they organized their money better. I don't know, but they made a little bit more money. And finally it was like, oh, hey, Christmas time's here. And for me, Christmas time was always that wonderful, imagination went wild. It was like, if you've ever seen a Christmas Story, it is like that. It was like that. And so you would go to the store. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
And you're looking at all these toys and you're like, oh, wow,
What
like
if
these
I got
amazing stories. Yeah. What if I had that toy? What if I had this? And so the toy I got was the latest G.I. Joe helicopter, which was like the helicopter for the Battle Twins. Do you remember the twins?
Oh.
They were so lame. And then it was this cool helicopter that had like the two sides to the helicopter shot out.
Yeah.
And like came out of the, but I mean, it was just too little too late, like here we are. I'm like 14 now or whatever it was. And I'm looking at it going, yeah, thanks. But what I really wanted and what I had told
Was a
them,
real helicopter.
well,
just kidding.
that'd been awesome.
Yeah.
Was this robot.
Mm.
They had this robot that supposedly, and see, I didn't know it at the time, but my parents, they saw through the, I'm watching the commercials going, oh, that robot talks.
I know what robot you're talking about.
That robot comes around, he can carry my drink.
Yep. I know exactly what robot you're talking about
yeah.
now.
And I was like,
Yeah, the single red.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this robot's amazing. I want one of those. And the reality was the robot didn't do much of that. Like it was all basically a remote controlled toy that you could talk into. And so I didn't know that at the time. Of course, I'm just, a prepubescent boy. And I'm sitting there looking and going, man, a robot. I have my own robot. That'd be amazing. And never got it. So instead I got G.I. Joe toys. And I was kind of out of that phase. It was sad.
This whole thing has been just a ploy to get people to buy us all the toys we never got.
No.
If you're listening,
Please don't buy me that
just kidding.
stupid robot.
If I hadn't had that and you wanted to give me one, all right.
I know, right?
Yeah, cool.
He's like, I don't want
I'm
the
not
robot,
asking
but
for
I'm
the
like,
aircraft carrier from, the G.I. Joe. I mean, that
aircraft
was,
oh my gosh,
That
that
thing
was
was
I
massive.
did know someone that had that. I'm
That
like,
was so big.
how?
Did you know
How?
that they had one for the 12-inch action figures?
No.
Yes,
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it came in sections.
And that makes sense.
Yeah, you had to buy it in sections. You can buy the rear half, you can buy the middle half, and you can buy the front half.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, it was massive. But the thing is too, it's like you talked about how you progressed through like wanting, these Ninja Turtle toys to slime, and then all of a sudden like video games were the thing. And I'm just curious, like as we have gotten older, like we still kind of play with stuff, right? Like there's things that we consider our toys nowadays, but like what's changed in your taste? Do you still play with G.I. Joes, or have you graduated something different? What do you have now?
Graduated. Yeah. I think I went the video game route because growing up, like we had an Atari 2600 and we wanted a Nintendo so bad. And my dad was like, no. And I think part of it had to do with, finances, I'm sure. But the other part of it had to do with the competitive nature of two other brothers and all of us wanting to play at the same time. And we actually, a friend of mine let us borrow his Nintendo, and we I don't know, we probably had it for a month. I don't know why he even let us have it, but maybe he was grounded from it. So he's like, someone should play it. So we had a Nintendo for a while, and it was so rad. And my dad even played, and like literally the day that he was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna get us a Nintendo." Like we had this huge fight, and about whose turn it was, and he's like, "Never mind." So I really didn't have video games growing up. So when I became an adult, I still remember the first Christmas, where the question was asked, "What would you like?" And for me, I'm like you, Lee. Christmas was always like, you put the list out there, but you don't know what you're going to get, and that's part of the excitement.
It is. It's kind of magical that way.
And then you become an adult, and then the person across the table says, "What do you want for Christmas?" Or you're actually shopping, and they're like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I'm like, PlayStation would be cool. And so they take it off the shelf and put it in the cart right in front of you, and you're going, "What are you doing?
You just killed everything."
No.
It's like, I don't want it anymore. Put it back.
It's like there's a part of me that's like, I want you to put that back. I want this
I
to be a
want to open this
surprise.
on Christmas morning.
But I was like, at the same time, I'm like, I got a PlayStation now.
Yeah.
So I think I've carried on
That's
with that.
cool,
I don't
man.
play
Like,
video games as much, but I do enjoy playing video games, especially when I get to connect with my kids that way too. So
Yeah. And friends.
Friends. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of different interests and things that I tinker with and play around with and stuff, but I kind of kept a kind of childlike quality about me with the toys because they had so many memories attached to them. Like there was nostalgia with it. There was a lot of things I experienced with friends and my dad and like people that I've lost that have given me things or I've done with them. And so I've held on to a lot of these memories through these action figures and collectibles. And so I had a really, really big collection of stuff. And I didn't play with them or anything, but I displayed them. I had shelves and cabinets and everything. And it was a big conversation piece. Anytime somebody would come over to my house, they could see my collection and stuff. And it was pretty cool. And it was this year, I don't know, something just shifted in my thought process and how life has gone. And I say, I don't know what it is, but I mean,
You're like, I have a child.
I have a child.
Yeah, I was going to say.
My original
Little guy
goal,
came around.
my original goal was to keep these things until he got old enough. And then I was going to sell them off and like use the money to do X, Y, and Z for him. But then I realized, I was like, honestly, the way things work, like it would take me until he's 16 to even sell them in a way that would make enough money because it just doesn't sell that fast. So there were some things we needed. And I decided for us, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to get rid of like a bunch of these. So I literally sold probably half, if not more than my entire collection. It got me about $2,000 total for the collection.
Yeah.
Which is, decent. Less than it's probably valued at.
Yeah.
But it was decent, and it was really difficult.
I can only imagine.
I didn't think it was going to be because it's just stuff. Like, and I really enjoyed it, but like, there was a part of me that was legitimately attached to this stuff. Like, that was an identity thing for me. Like, I'm the guy. I'm the guy with this collection or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm the guy with the action figures.
Wow.
But now it's been a while, and it's like I'm okay with it. Like, it sits well with me, and now I tinker around with video cameras and computers and stuff, and like that's what I'm kind of pouring my money into.
High tech toys,
high tech stuff, right? Like, and it's cool. But there's still that part of me that loves toys, and I still have some. Like I have one of the coolest Darth Maul sculptures ever on my shelf. I love that. I've got the one guilty pleasure I have is I don't know if you've seen it, but Small Soldiers, the movie from the 90s. Right? Okay, so I love that movie, and I own some of the original action figures from when that movie came out.
What?
And I'm not going to get rid of those guys. So
that's fair.
Jason saw me be able to collect a couple at a store in the mall, which was really exciting for me. So I still have those. Like, I'm not completely over it, but yeah, as an adult, I kind of held on to some of that childlike toy wonder.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, look at me. I've got a banana shirt.
Yeah. Like I said, I shifted over to video games pretty early on. So that's probably, that's the one thing I still have: video games and board games.
Yeah.
Like that's where everything kind of shifted. I remember we had like multiple Ataris.
Wow, dude.
We did.
Wow.
And it was because, again, my grandmother garage sale thing. And so she would buy. I remember playing that original E.T. game.
Nice.
So terrible.
It was.
But we had a bunch of
a documentary about how awful that ET game is.
It was horrible. Now I wish I had it though, because it would sell itself.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, for sure.
But Yeah, like we had Atari and Nintendo. We rented a Super Nintendo for so long because you could still rent games
Right.
play them.
Yeah.
And then we finally got one, and then PlayStation came out, and got the PlayStation, and then like never went back to Nintendo until like the Wii.
Yeah.
It was PlayStation.
The
after
Wii
that.
changed the world.
Yeah, I never did Xbox. That's the one thing, and you know we've
You missed out on
had
Halo.
different-
That's
Well,
why
that's
you
right.
missed out on Halo.
Yeah,
it's never my like. It was just never my thing. I never liked first person shooter things. It was all RPG, which was
Yeah. And a lot of those are like
Yeah.
one player.
or Nintendo. Yeah, and so that kind of drove that. And so I still PlayStation. I still have all the PlayStations.
I'm
I
a big
think about all of them,
PlayStation fan myself. So
Yeah. So that's my thing. Yeah.
What about you, Lee?
Yeah. So,
Mr. We're sitting in your studio.
yeah, like the tech is cool, but a lot of times it's a toy. It's not a toy, it's a tool.
Yeah.
And so it's rare that I find something that I'm really like, oh, this is cool. I have a camera or, whatever, and I'm like, okay, cool. This will allow me to do X, Y, Z. And so
This
that's why I
allows
have
me
it.
to make money.
Yeah. And so unfortunately, a lot of times that's how I look at it all is like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I need this because of whatever. And so recently I had to just buy a new drone.
Oh.
And
Okay, so what Lee is saying, if
Please.
his wife is listening right now,
Yeah.
Lee needs a toy.
No.
So you had to buy a new drone.
So I had to buy a new drone. And, a lot of times it's like, oh, fun. And it's like with the FAA regulations, everything going on, it's like, I can't even look at it as like a toy. I have to look at it as like, okay, this is an investment. How much am I going to,
This is going to be an annoying thing to fly.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I got to make a report and all the jazz. Anyway, so if you're doing it legit, there's people who are hobby flyers, happy for you, seriously, happy for you. But, I did just get a piece of tech that I was like, oh, this is so cool. And it is a microscope that mounts onto your phone, the camera in your phone.
No way.
And it magnifies it up to 200%.
What?
Yes. It's pretty stinking cool.
That means I can now finally read the NIV Bible my grandma gave me.
Yes, you could. And so
Those
here
parts are so
is
small.
a picture of a squishmallow. If you know what a squishmallow is, this is the fur of a squishmallow here.
Okay, you got to send me that because I'd love to put it on the screen for people
Yeah,
to
we'll
see.
put it on the screen for you. So I'll send you a picture of a squishmallow, and then this is the
You can
squishmallow
literally
fur.
see the fibers. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
you can see in each individual fiber
And
there
your phone took that?
with the magnifying or the microscope built onto it.
That's awesome.
And I got it just on a whim. I saw it and I was like, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
So I got it, and it was cooler than anything I thought it was going to be.
He's literally going around the house taking pictures of everything close up.
everything.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was pretty
so
awesome.
black.
It was pretty awesome. I did spend an afternoon doing that. So
That is a toy. You see, that's amazing.
But yeah.
that's what's so cool about toys, though. Like, I know it kind of seems silly, and so there are probably people out there hating right now and be like, "Y'all still play with toys?" No, but toys bring wonder into your life. It's something
Yes.
that's carefree, something you enjoy. Take your mind off of the busyness and the craziness of the world. Like we all got stuff going on.
Yeah.
That we all have heavy things in our lives. We've all got burdens. We've all got things that we have to focus on and actually put in some real work on. But having something that's like a toy that you can go and just enjoy, relax, experience some wonder
Look at
is absolutely amazing. And so if you don't have that, make sure you do. Find something in your life that is like a toy that you just get to enjoy. Like he said, a jet ski, right?
A boat.
It might be expensive, but find something,
get a boat.
hobby that you really enjoy. That's what this is really about. Is just talking about the things that brought us joy, the things that we still love to this day, and how it's changed, evolved, and we find things that really bring us a sense of passion about something. But hey, we'd love to hear about your story of the toys that you grew up playing with. What do you got now? Or is it you're into computer games? Or are you into cameras or tech or gear, anything like that? Maybe you actually still have some action figures, or you're a collector like myself. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. But thank you so much for joining us on another episode of the 4THOUGHT podcast. Peace out.